even for their loved ones from Ukraine. Only on Action News, they share their preparations in their home to welcome their relatives with 9 children escaping their war-torn country. Even baking sweet treats to raise money for clothing, food, and extra beds. The outpouring of community support that's literally arriving on their doorstep, and how you can help the families start their new life in the Central Valley. Next at 11.
The customer doesn't exist for us, we exist for them. So therefore we need to listen to them. Whether it's a customer coming in to buy a car and we're not able to get them financed, whether it's a customer coming into the service department and we can't fix their car, or we can't do the repair under warranty. It's simply our job to explain to them why. And I think that's all the customer wants. They just want a little bit of opportunity to be heard. And at that point in time, I think a customer goes away satisfied.
A tisket, a tasket, a very valuable Easter basket. It's the $250,000 Easter egg hunt virtual drawings at the Tachi Palace. Fridays in April from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. 2 winners will be drawn every 30 minutes to win up to $10,000 in cash. The art of the hunt is racking up points on your favorite slot or table game. See the Premier Club for details. The $250,000 Easter egg hunt virtual drawings only at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore.
Now at 11, a man who works for an organization that combats crime appears in court today being accused of conspiring to kill.
Plus, pastries for peace. So Clovis woman is taking pride in her baking and her home country of Ukraine. In a story you'll see only on Action News, she's using those skills to take in her brother's family of 11 as they flee the war.
Increasing chances for valley rain and Sierra snow. The timing is late Thursday. More coming up.
Vietnam veterans are honored in Fresno County tonight. The special tribute from Congressman David Valadao that thanked these heroes for their service.
A former First Lady has a message for Fresno tonight. The special recognition One Valley Food Bank is receiving from Michelle Obama. Live at 11 starts now.
Taking action together. This is Central California's #1 news. ABC 30 Action News. Live at 11.
Today, dozens of suspects arrested in the no-fly zone gang bust operation in Fresno had their day in court. Among them, a man working for an organization that promotes peace in Fresno, 43-year-old Leonard Smith.
Action News reporter Alyssa Flores is live outside Fresno Superior Court, breaking down the crime Smith is accused of and how Advance Peace Fresno is responding to the charges. Alyssa?
Yeah, well, usually when we are reporting about the organization Advance Peace, we're telling you about the positive work that they are doing in our community. But today, one of the organization's own appeared in court accused of disturbing the peace.
Advance Peace has made headlines in Fresno for the organization's work to combat gun and gang violence in the Central Valley. But Tuesday, one of the organization's own employees appeared in court, charged with conspiracy to commit murder. 43-year-old Leonard Smith was among the dozens of suspects arrested in a multi-agency gang bust, Operation No Fly Zone, last week. Smith was there when Action News spoke to the organization just last month, when it received $300,000 in federal funding.
And now we're expanding because we've seen the trend shift in terms of where gun violence was occurring most frequently.
Court documents describe Leonard Smith as a 107 Hoover gang associate. They say March 9th, 107 Hoover gang member Rafer Alston Jr. contacted Smith, telling him he had committed the murder of 28-year-old Havante Askew. After the killing, Fresno police investigators said Askew was taking his garbage cans out onto the street when someone opened fire on him. Police said more than 20 rounds were fired. Court documents describe Smith telling Alston to delete messages on his phone that were related to the murder. Alston then went to see Smith at his home after the murder for about 2 hours. Documents say that 2 days later, Smith warned Alston that he had heard from a fellow member at Advance Peace that law enforcement suspected Alston to be involved in criminal activity. He told Alston to leave town, that he would take care of his family while he was gone, and help keep law enforcement away from Alston. March 12th documents state that Smith asked Alston for a gun so he could attack a gang member that was giving Smith problems. Then on March 20th, Smith and Alston discussed a plan for an associate associate of Smith to kill a gang rival of Alston's. After Smith's court appearance, Advanced Peace Program Manager Aaron Foster released a statement saying in part, quote, "By the nature of the program, our neighborhood change agents work with gang members to reduce cyclical and retaliatory gun violence. We're looking forward to a positive outcome." In a previous interview, Foster spoke to Action News about the role of Advanced Peace's change agents.
With those relationships, people trust us enough to tell us when things are about to happen or even allow us into their space after things erupt.
Now, we did ask the organization how they typically interview or vet employees of Advanced Peace. They declined to answer that right now. Smith is due back before a judge on Thursday. Live in downtown Fresno, Alyssa Flores, ABC 30 Action News.
Thank you, Alyssa. Now to an Action News update. The 10-year-old girl who was shot in the legs at a Northwest Fresno park a few weeks ago is now home from the hospital. Kylie Martin became another innocent victim of gun violence after police say an argument turned into gunfire on the night of April 6th. When we spoke with her mother last week, she told Action News Kylie was still recovering and unable to move. But now, Kylie is able to get around with the help of a wheelchair and her dedicated physical therapists. Fresno police are still trying to solve this senseless shooting and urge anyone with information to contact detectives.
People in Clovis are rallying around one of their neighbors as she prepares to take in her brother and his big family who are fleeing war-torn Ukraine. The woman has been raising money and collecting donations for her brother, his wife, and their 9 kids.
Now she's asking for the community's help with whatever they can give. Reporter Nick Garcia is here in the studio tonight with a story you'll see only on Action News. Nick?
Right, Galina Kozlov has lived in the United States for 20 years, long before the recent Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now she's working hard to bring some of her family here to the U.S., and she's going great lengths to get them here. The Ukrainian flag is displayed proudly outside this home in Clovis. Inside, Galina Kozlov whips up the cream for her homemade macaroons.
From the first day when the war barely started, I'm like, what I can do? I'm like, okay, I'm able to bake. Let's do the macarons.
She sells the cookies to co-workers and neighbors and sends all the money she makes to her struggling family in Ukraine. Now, some of those family members are coming to live with her, and it's going to take more than these cookies to get ready for them.
They come in without money. They cannot sell nothing there. They come in with their carry-on bags, and that's it. They cannot even bring their luggage.
Galina's brother, his wife, and their 9 children will be here in a week, leaving behind their home in Ukraine for a new life, free from the dangers of living through war.
It's heartbroken to the people who's like lost their lives, and it's our people. It's like, it's pretty hard to hear all of those, really hard.
Galina created this post on the Nextdoor app on Monday, asking for extra sheets, towels, and diapers for her 3-week-old niece. The response in just 24 hours has been overwhelming. Her garage is now filled with donations.
I don't have a vocabulary to explain my gratefulness to my heart is like so overwhelmed.
Preparing her home for such special house guests.
This for the parents, the baby will be over here.
Galina and her family are rearranging bedrooms and closets to make room, while the war driving her brother's family to the U.S. is heartbreaking. She's thankful to provide a safe house for them.
It's a good thing, the family reunion. It's a good thing.
Through the stress and worry over the safety of the rest of her family in Ukraine, Galina's one tough cookie. Her saving grace, her faith, and her macaroons. And Galina has also created an Amazon wish list to stock her home. You saw those Amazon boxes, and also a GoFundMe page to raise money to buy her brother a car. She's only got a sedan with 5 seats in it, and that's a whole lot of people moving into her home.
Well, maybe a van or a mobile home, but obviously if they need a car, they're going to need work too.
Absolutely, and she's committed to getting them started here, let them get settled, and she's working to find them a job and anything that they might need. The oldest is 25 of her brother's kids.
From 25 to 3-week-old.
They're all ready to work. work. Yes.
Yeah. And it never ceases to amaze us how this community comes together in times of need. It never fails.
It's incredible, and Galina is amazing. Her strength and her commitment to helping her family. It's what we've seen of the Ukrainian people on the news on the other side of the world, too.
Yeah.
It is remarkable. Neighbor helping neighbor. Great story.
Beautiful.
And the macaroons are amazing, too. We had a sample.
Very good.
They look terrific, yeah.
Yeah, great story, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you.
A big storm is making its way to the valley this week, but tonight conditions are still partly cloudy. Here's a live look now from the ABC 30 downtown Fresno Skycam. That storm system is expected to trigger an AccuWeather alert for some of the mountain communities. The storm could be a good rain and snow maker for this time of year.
Both are good. Kevin Musso is tracking the arrival of all that wet weather. Kevin?
Yeah, the analysis I gave it this afternoon when I first looked at the updates was this is significant. We have one more mild day ahead of us, so if you want to do something before it rains, tomorrow would be a good day to do that. Also, look what's coming back to the mountains. If you thought, well, we're just done with the mountain snow for the season, we're not. Up to 2 feet is possible at 8,000 feet or higher in isolated areas. In general, 6 to 12 inches at the 5,000 foot level. So the breakdown for tomorrow, the mild day, is 50 at sunrise, outlying areas in the upper 40s, 68 midday, and tomorrow's high, 76. We're going to look at those good rain totals coming up.
Kevin, thank you. In Valley headlines tonight, Fresno police arrested 22-year-old Anthony Munoz, a known gang member. Investigators say Munoz killed 30-year-old Corey Childress after shooting into his car near Saginaw Way and Toll House.
Police in Atwater arrested 22-year-old Jaime Cervantes. He's now facing attempted murder charges. Officers say Cervantes stabbed his partner on Easter. The victim of the attack survived their wounds.
The 4 finalists in the nationwide search for the next president of Fresno City College spoke at a public forum. Students, faculty, and staff listened to each finalist speak for 1 hour at the old administration building.
Central East High School senior Guadalupe Zamudio Tejas has been awarded $1,000 from the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. The valedictorian earned the national award for her community work. New tonight, a special ceremony in Firebaugh honored Valley veterans who fought in the Vietnam War.
Those heroes received a special lapel pin for their brave service for our country. Congressman David Valadao attended tonight's event at the Firebaugh VFW. One by one, the veterans were recognized and received a pin for their service. It was an emotional night, with many of the veterans saying this is the first real recognition they've received for fighting in the Vietnam War.
We're not forgotten, we're not the forgotten ones now. In the past we were. Nobody talked about Vietnam. I worked for 5 years for a company that didn't even know I was in the Marine Corps.
Our Vietnam veterans came back from a difficult war and didn't get the treatment we all feel they deserved. And so we worked together with DoD, Department of Defense, and created this lapel pin, and we have these opportunities to create these ceremonies where we honor them for their service.
These 3 veterans, these heroes, Mitchell Tatarakis, Robert Delgado, and Armando Ramirez, all served in different branches of the military in Vietnam. They're also all Firebaugh natives and grew up going to middle and high school together before serving. They say receiving their pins together tonight made it all that much more special, and we do appreciate their service greatly.
California's water woes are gaining new focus and funding.
Drought dollars, the major investment by the state to address long-standing supply issues and how families and farmers could soon see those benefits.
Thursday on Action News Live at 6. This mayor is providing a lifeline for his community with a program that's making a difference with residents.
What we're doing is providing folks the experience on what it feels like to go from owning a car to a community owning a fleet.
Jessica Harrington shows us how they're making an impact on air pollution and their overall health. Thursday on Action News Live at 6. Taking action together.
Toyota's Make It Yours sales event is on now, with new Toyotas arriving daily.
Take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
Get low financing on the all-new redesigned Tundra, or take on the toughest terrain in your new Tacoma. Toyota Safety Sense and Toyota Care comes standard.
I said, are you gonna be my girl?
It's time to make a new Toyota yours. Toyota, let's go places.
COVID-19 vaccines help save lives. Centro La Familia Advocacy Services is offering a series of free COVID-19 vaccine clinics. Clinics provide the first and second doses, as well as the booster. The first 30 people who get the vaccine are guaranteed a $50 gift card. Centro La Familia also offers weekly testing for the COVID virus. For more information about testing or the next clinic, call Centro La Familia Advocacy Services at the number on the screen.
Saddle up for Chancey Gold's $500,000 Roundup of Riches giveaway, where you can catch yourself a brand new Ram truck.
Swipe the kiosk daily for the chance to win Clovis Rodeo tickets, e-cash, bonus points, or drawing entries, all leading up to the grand finale when you can win a new Ram truck. It's the $500,000 Roundup of Riches giveaway.
Only at Chancey Gold Resort Casino.
ABC30, home of Fresno State Athletics. Taking action together. This is ABC 30 Action News, live at 11. With Warren Armstrong, Margot Kim, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Musso, and Sports Director Stephen Hicks.
As Californians feel the impacts of a third drought year, Governor Newsom traveled to Butte County today to spotlight the state's response. The governor visited the Hyatt Power Plant at Oroville Dam, which supplies water to 27 million residents. Water from the facility also supports about 750,000 irrigated acres in Central California. Due to the intensity of drought conditions, the plant had to shut down last summer. The state is now working to better forecast the water supply. Last month, the governor secured more than $22 million in additional funding to address the drought, with more money possibly in the pipeline.
We'll have a May revise where you will see additional investments into immediate issues related to the drought around scarcity, medium and long term. We're not waiting to do bonds because we have the resources to do more through general fund contributions.
The governor says $250 million would be set aside as a drought reserve to be allocated in the spring based on conditions and need.
Developing now, major airlines are dropping mask rules just 24 hours after a federal judge overturned the CDC's travel mask mandate. Despite the ruling, some cities are choosing to keep those requirements in place. ABC's Morgan Norwood has a look at the confusion that's causing for travelers.
Just one day after that federal mask mandate was overturned on planes and public transportation, the mask coming off in airports across the country.
I think it's wonderful. I just want to scream and tell everybody, take those masks off. Enjoy life. Breathe.
It was welcome news for flight attendants who've had to deal with violent disputes over masks on board.
Mask now optional.
United Airlines now saying it will allow some passengers previously banned for mask violations to fly, but only on a case-by-case basis. But though it's not required, the CDC still recommends masking up during travel.
Should people continue to wear masks on planes?
That's up to them.
The Department of Justice saying it will appeal the decision if the CDC concludes that a mandatory order is necessary for the public's health. For now, Americans face a mixed bag of rules where local regulations trump the federal decision. For instance, you can fly without a mask in and out of New York's LaGuardia and Kennedy airports, but you'll need to put it back on while walking through the airport.
It's like contradicting. It's like a lot of stuff going on.
And while Amtrak and rideshare services like Uber and Lyft have all just dropped their mask rules, several major cities, including New York and San Francisco, still require them on some public transit. It comes as CDC data out today shows that the new Omicron subvariant BA.2.12.1, which could be about 25% more contagious than BA.2, makes up nearly a fifth of all new cases in the U.S.
Removing the mask on flights and public transportation creates a worry that will only add fuel to the fire and increase the risk of cases and transmission in the community and ultimately hospitalizations and deaths.
And it's a risk some passengers aren't willing to take.
We've got a little one here who's too young to be vaccinated, so we're going to be a little bit cautious for now. While we are in the airport and on the plane, we're going to be wearing our masks.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A special thank you tonight from a former First Lady.
Hey, Fresno. Thank you.
A message from Michelle. Mrs. Obama's appreciation for the generous effort to feed Fresno families and the tens of thousands of meals provided.
Spring is spreading through backyards across the country, and when you've got a new Tough Shed building, the season looks even brighter. Add more storage space, a home office, workshop, home gym, or even something more with a new shed, studio, or garage. And you'll love the spring savings with our free upgrades on new Premier and Pro Series buildings. Come see what we can design for you and ask about our financing specials. Stop in, call, or visit us online at toughshed.com. Dream, design, deliver, install. Tough Shed.
It's easy to think that all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You saw high commission investment products, right?
Nope, Fisher avoids them.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Never at Fisher Investments.
Okay, then you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No. We structure our fees so we do better when clients do better. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
At Monarch, we focus on keeping your AC working so that you can focus on enjoying life. And right now, you could schedule a cooling tune-up so that your AC is ready for the summer. Monarch Home Services. Keep home comfortable.
Coming up, Kevin Musso with the ABC 30 AccuWeather forecast, the most accurate forecast in Central California.
Let's get personal. The crust, the sauce, the great pineapple debate that's raged for the last 10 years. That's why you deserve your own Me and Ed's personal pizza. And just $6.50, exactly the way you like it. Only from Me and Ed's.
When you drive a Honda, the adventures go on and on. Follow your adventures with the rugged power of Honda. The brand owners are calling the most fun to drive. Hurry into a local Honda dealer where new vehicles are arriving daily.
We're talking about what legends mean to us.
Clovis Rodeo is one of the largest rodeos across the U.S.
I'm going to tell you who is a great sponsor for the rodeo. It's called Evans Feed.
Evans Feed is a legend.
Yes, and so is the Clovis Rodeo.
Well, we have a storm brewing, but we're going to have a mild day before it gets here. The storm is out here in the Pacific. It's going to take some time to get here. There's already a watch-in effect for winter conditions up in the mountains. That's for Thursday and Friday. Thursday night, or Thursday morning, really, through Friday evening. Here's the approach of the storm. As you can see, it's kind of quiet once we get into Thursday afternoon. Right in here, north end of the valley, I'm expecting some thunderstorms to pop up. And then late Thursday night into Friday morning, this is when the main event comes in, swings in with plenty of moisture over the mountainous areas. Into Friday morning at 3 a.m. to 9 a.m., it pushes into the mountains with a great late season snowfall. Here is the latest projections. The numbers shuffled around a little bit from earlier tonight. It took the thunderstorms out of the equation in the north end of the valley. These numbers came way down from where they were earlier. We were over a half an inch. I still think we're going to be looking at least a half an inch. If you're under one of these thunderstorms, you're going to see it. Of course, the numbers really begin to spike up. Now here's Friday added on to what I showed you there for Thursday. So in all, it is going to be a significant rain event. And there could be more than an inch of rain accumulation in the valley floor and maybe somewhere around 2 feet of snow in isolated areas of the mountains, even maybe 4 to 6 inches of snow around Shaver. Right now, the temperatures are much colder than 24 hours ago. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s. The wind is relatively mild in most locations. We have a northwesterly at 8 miles per hour. Tomorrow, air quality status is good for the valley once again. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, and upper 40s to low 50s are expected. Tomorrow, a very pleasant day. If you need to do something before it rains, tomorrow's the day to get it done because it's going to get rather wet in the afternoon and evening Thursday into early Friday morning especially. Or winter type travel for the mountainous areas. Be advised, if you are not in the habit of carrying chains and need to go to the mountains, you're going to need them Thursday night into Friday for sure. Probably at about 4,000 feet, 4,500 feet and up. Thunderstorm potential is for the north end of the valley Thursday evening and then a quiet spring-like weekend ahead.
All right, thank you, Kevin. New tonight, former First Lady Michelle Obama is giving Fresno a special shout out.
She's thanking a local nonprofit for its contributions to a national food drive.
Hey, Fresno, thanks to your support, we have made a difference in the lives of so many families through our Pass the Love campaign. With our friends at the Central California Food Bank, we delivered 120,000 meals to 2,500 Fresno families, helping us.
Mrs. Obama is the honorary chair of the organization that launched the Pass the Love campaign. The goal was to distribute more than 1 million healthy meals across the country this spring. More than 120,000 of those meals were distributed through the Central California Food Bank.
Great effort. Another great effort sends a former Bulldog up to the show.
Yeah, we like to think about Aaron Judge, Taylor Ward, but another one added to the list tonight as Dylan Lee gets the call up to the bigs while his new teammate Kenley Jansen shuts the door on his former team. Plus, the Grizzlies roll in their return home while things went downhill for the Suns after this moment with a baby.
New tonight on Kimmel.
One of the most beloved shows. Blackish has packed up and is leaving us.
Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross.
You know, this is our victory lap.
Plus, Miles Brown, Marcus Scribner, Yara Shahidi, and Marseille Martin.
It's amazing.
Jimmy Kimmel Live. New tonight on ABC.
Now through April 30th, get a rate as low as 1.89% APR on new and used car and truck loans. Or refinance your higher rate loan from another lender. Apply online today at myeecu.org.
From the start, our focus in Clovis Unified has always been the same. Our kids. Our mission, prepare them to succeed in school and in life. From the first day of preschool to walking across the graduation stage, kids come first. We're a team who's here for our kids. Offer your student a world-class experience, whether you live or work in Clovis Unified's boundaries. See what your student can achieve at cusd.com/enroll.
The team at Jacoby & Myers has gotten our clients up to 10 times the insurance company's original offer. Don't settle for less. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
When nature calls, make sure you're ready to answer. With the most awarded lineup of SUVs ever. Get 0% APR for 72 months on the all-new 2022 Wagoneer during the Jeep Celebration event going on now. Come experience the Clovis difference.
Sometimes the littlest things bring the biggest changes. With Kauai Health by your side, you won't face those changes alone. Our family practice physicians care for every member of your family, developing relationships and getting to know your specific health needs. Because living your best life is about enjoying every moment to the fullest. Kauai Health Clinics, more than medicine, life.
Action News Sports starts now.
Today, Dylan Lee getting the call back up to the bigs. The Dinuba native and former Fresno State Bulldog will be the first Braves pitcher to wear the number 89, 74 that he used to wear, given to Kenley Jansen, who made his first appearance against his former team. But first, Atlanta had to get the lead. They tag Walker Buehler for 3 runs, so pick things up bottom 9 when it's 3-1 Atlanta. Here's Jansen, the Dodgers' all-time saves leader, facing his former team for the first time. He's got 2 outs against last night's hero, Freddie Freeman. Deep shot, but it stays in the park to end the game. Jansen gets the save. Braves win it 3-1. A's had 3,700 fans at tonight's game, fewest in a non-COVID year since 1980. Long ball to deep center. Christian Pache, look at that catch. Bobbles, but hangs on. 6th inning, Seth Brown would come through with the hit of the night as the A's win. Giants drop both games of a doubleheader against the Mets. Clovis Rodeo this week. Some out at Chukchansi Park showing they are ready. Bottom 2, Juan Guerrero doubles in Pierce Jones. Next inning, Adiel Amador would homer over that short fence in right field. And watch the celebration here. I swear it is to celebrate that home run from the young fan. Warming Bernabel makes it 3-0 with a sac fly as the Grizzlies hang on for the one-run win. Rawhide fall to the Quakes 10-5. Diamond Dogs hosting Hawaii. Bree Mellon did a great feature on Peyton Allen. You can go see at abc30.com. But here he is doubling in 2 runs to make it 3-0. Later, Ben Newton singles to make it 5-0 after 1. They outslug the Warriors and have a quick turnaround tomorrow as they are on the road at Long Beach State. Softball scoreless in slow until the 4th. Kiahi Matson RBI single puts the Dogs up 1-0. Later, she's on first when Alicia Denby comes up to extend the lead with an RBI double. Casey Dixon and Cassidy West combined for the first 7-inning shutout of the season. Dogs back home Friday against Colorado State.
Is that a thing? Oh, I had no idea. Wow, that's awesome.
We unintentionally broke the news to Fresno State's Emily Nicholson that she was the Conference Player of the Year. Her team riding a 13-game win streak into the conference tournament. If they can win that, it'll be a 2nd straight trip to the NCAAs.
It's huge, you know, the opportunity to repeat as conference champions. It's fun for me as their coach to see them walk on the deck with confidence and swagger, knowing they're a good team.
Individual awards are really nice, but if the team doesn't win, then it doesn't mean anything.
Dogs the top seed and open the Golden Coast Conference tournament Friday against Cal Baptist. The final set for Sunday in Riverside. Finally, the top-seeded Suns hosting the Pelicans in Game 2. Devin Booker started shooting lights out. He scores 16 points in the first, including this shot that beats the buzzer. He'd have 31 in the first half. Watch this as he fist bumps a baby on the sideline. Second half, though, he appears to grab his hamstring after the play. Booker would leave the game. No timetable on a return, and the Pelicans catch fire. They take Game 2 to level the series at 1, heading back to New Orleans. So, guys, maybe a little bad luck baby bump there.
Oh.
As cute as it was.
Yes.
Keep the faith.
Yeah.
All right, Stephen, thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. And we'll be right back with breaking news. Police confirmed a shooting investigation in central Fresno.
Closed captioning of Action News is sponsored by Fresno Mitsubishi.
I told him to stop, but he wouldn't. I fought as hard as I could, but I couldn't get away.
He forced himself on me. He said he can do whatever he wanted to me.
Tabaco. Cuchillo olica. Cuestión de identidad.
Tengo miedo. No sé a dónde ir. No quiero que esto me vuelva a pasar.
In any language, in any culture, of any gender, sexual assault is a crime. Report to police immediately.
A message from Centro La Familia Advocacy Services.
Let's rodeo, Clovis. Wayne Brooks here, and I'll be back for the 108th Clovis Rodeo, April 20th through the 24th. Supported by Coors and Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino, PBR Bull Riding, Cowboys and Cowgirls, concerts with Mitchell Tenpenny, Parmalee, and Jameson Rogers. My good friends will be back, PBR's Flint Rasmussen, Funny Man J.J. Harrison, and Charo Tomas Garcilaso at the 108th Clovis Rodeo, April 20th through the 24th. Visit clovisrodeo.com. Let's rodeo, Clovis.
I usually frequent the Fresno Food for Less, but my husband works in Madera, so he'll sometimes go to that one.
We love to go to the bakery section.
My favorite are the Food for Less cookies.
Our name says it all. Food for Less.
I was denied my Social Security disability claim, even though I can't work.
I'm so frustrated dealing with the government, and the last thing I want is some faceless lawyer on the phone.
I want personal attention.
Someone experienced
who knows our local legal system
and will fight for me.
When you can't work, the law offices of Robert Ishikawa will fight to get you Social Security disability benefits. Call 559-432-9600. Social Security disability is all we do.
Fresno State Adventures Days is back, April 29th through May 1st. The whole valley is invited for admission-free fun, including live performances, food and drinks, including the beer and wine garden,
a crafts fair,
the kids zone,
the Blue Shell Gaming Indoor Arena.
Vintage Days is back.
Hey sis, check out this cute spot. Bougie. I prefer my coffee with a view. Safety first.
The 2022 Chevy Blazer and Trailblazer with standard Chevy Safety Assist, part of the Chevy family of SUVs. Find new experiences. Find new roads.
Add a new Chevy to your driveway. Very well-qualified buyers can get 0% financing on most Chevy vehicles. New models are arriving weekly. Secure yours today. Visit your participating Central Valley Chevrolet dealers.
Busted? Original Gorilla Glue, of course. Works indoor, works outdoor. It's weatherproof, it's waterproof. It's versatile. and incredibly strong for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Reynolds Wrap makes this whole cooking and cleanup thing so easy. Speeds up this so I can get to them.
Easy Prep Cook and Clean with Reynolds Wrap.
We're following late-breaking news out of central Fresno tonight.
There's a heavy police presence in the area where a shooting investigation is now underway. Take a look at this video just into our Action Newsroom from First and Illinois. We do have an Action News crew at the scene, and they confirmed they just saw an ambulance leaving the area. Police are asking drivers to avoid the area as investigators process this shooting scene. But again, what we know right now is a confirmed shooting in central Fresno.
To give you a better idea of where this is located, we said Illinois and First. The major intersection just to the south of this location is Huntington Boulevard and First. And again, we'll have much more information coming up on Action News AM Live. That wraps up tonight's edition of Action News Live at 11. Thanks for joining us. Jimmy Kimmel Live is next.
Action News continues tomorrow with AM Live.
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, from Blackish, Anthony Anderson, Tracy Ellis Ross, Marcus Scribner, Miles Brown, Yura Shahidi, and Marseille Martin, plus music from Amber Marr with Cleto and the Cletos. And now, Jimmy